day one of starting rolling, and it's a small start, but it's a very real start on the Sub 7 series, which after last night's chat, but I did go to bed last night thinking, big challenge. Have I bitten off more than I could chew? I guess that's part of the fun, isn't it? Let's see. Yorkie was hyped because he's not the one who's got to get in the car. Here we are. It's really strange being here. So we're at the ring, and it's basically the end of the season. There's some industry pool taking place throughout this week. I'm not sure if there's any industry on today or not, but yeah, we're staying here at the Lindner. If you come here during the season, they are full of cars. The car park around the back's full of cars where we've parked, and there's activity and people coming to and from the ring all around here. And as soon as the season comes to an end, it's almost ghost town here. Except what's kind of strange is all of the brands that operate out here. I mean, there's brands with permanent bases here, like Porsche and Mercedes and Aston Martin and BMW. All of these brands, they have permanent bases here where they're developing cars. So the industry's still here, but there's no sort of track day lapping enthusiasts.
Well, people. Except for us,
just walking around here. So we're here today to get some pickup shots for the beginning of the Sub 7 series, the announcement. We had a meeting last night with Manthey, which was super cool, about how they are going to help us achieve this rather ambitious target. But it's not actually just about actually setting this time. This is going to take a long time. It's not something that's just going to happen overnight. The idea of this series is that we want to explore the whole culture, lifestyle, legend, notoriety that is this remarkable stretch of tarmac up in the Eiffel Mountains in Germany, and what is it that makes it so special. So while the backbone of it is embarking on this ludicrously ambitious challenge of trying to achieve a sub 7 lap time for a amateur driver such as myself, we're also going to be taking you along for everything else that makes this place so special. So we've been planning this for quite some time. If you're a subscriber of the main channel, you may have noticed that there was a sort of dead spot from an uploading point of view on the channel throughout October, and that's because many a meeting, admin, legwork, planning, reality checking has had to take place in order to get the green light on this project from both Porsche and Manthey. And now here we are, within a few days of green light, hopped in the car, road trip over to the ring, starting filming. So if you want to see this unfold, subscribe to both channels, because I'm taking you along for the uncut, behind the scenes reality of how we end up shooting this and all of the trials and tribulations that come along with it. And over on the main channel is where you're going to see the real glossy stuff and ultimately the attempt one day. Right now we thought we'd come and take the opportunity while the sun's out to get some cliche pickup shots and bits to camera at the ring. I mean, during the season here, this place is like real life Forza Horizon. It really is. If you've never been, honestly, I implore you to come here, even just to hang out peak season. It's the best car show you'll ever see, because the caliber of cars that are driving around is cool, just on the roads, parked outside of hotels, etc. But then the cars which are lapping the ring in summer, it's really very, very cool. I think that's part of the scene that we're looking to share, is also everything that takes place off track, as well as speaking to a good selection of heroes who have done pretty outstanding things here. All right, here we go. We are the wrong hand drive, so we're gonna need
oh man,
am I too far away?
It's not gonna work.
It's not
I can't do it, Captain.
Come on, reach. What? Yes. Brilliant. Let's go to Manthey after this corner, I think the track still needs to dry out a little bit. It's damp, although I'm not sure if there's been an industry pool session or not. They will have created a dry line if there has been. If we take a drive by, then we'll see what's going on. Then we desperately need fuel. We're in the red.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's a Panamera Turbo with a roll cage and loads of data bits and bobs on it. Do you know what I really hope they do is a new Panamera V8 hybrid Sport Turismo? Because at the minute there's been no announcement that the new Panameras are going to be available as like a shooting brake, which would just be amazing. Anyway, gonna get some gas now. That's V8.
Cool. See what it sounds like.
Yeah. We need a Gulf Orange 992 GT3. But all the books. Oh yeah, actually there could be some cracking research here if we found a ring book, eh? I'm gonna have to bring the little dude something back, for sure. There's a whole shelf of GT3s here. There's a whole shelf of them. Look at this. Oh, we're so close. I just need one of those in orange. Maybe they didn't license PTS. Honestly, that would be so good in orange. It's close, but it's got red wheels. This is one of, if not the best model store that I've ever been to. I'm sure there's some great ones around the world in different places, but this one, every time I come in here, I like end up losing track time because of the amount of time I spent here. Look at it all. Look at this one. It's extensive. Look at this. I mean, it's just different league scale of cars available. Who spotted one? Oh, lots. Whole shelf of GT3s again. We need that colour in... it's not here, but we need that colour in a 992. Oh, how cool is that? Right, I'm gonna have to get the little man something, and then we'll go and continue filming. Okay, we're now in the backpack. Yorkie's got his torch out. So we're like in a storeroom somewhere. Oh, the beast. Manti Grello. That one's a iconic car.
Oh, hello.
We've got the pig. There's some
amazing stuff in
They're
here.
quite expensive. That's a GT3 RS. That is nice, actually. How much is that one? 140 euros. God damn. All right. I feel like we shouldn't be in here.
That's what I used to steal off my dad and go and drive. Got that.
There's everything but. Well, there is a 992 GT3 RS, but it's just not in Gulf Orange. Right, we're going to YouTube Corner. So this is the infamous corner where a lot of the recording takes place of people on laps. And it gets, let's just say, entertaining when it's wet. Today's a bit damp, but I think it's industry pool, so you can just see up there they are creating a bit of a dry line. But look, when you approach the ring from a different angle, the elevation is crackers. You know what's really funny? Even when you're actually on the track in a real car, you can't really tell the undulation changes. Like simulators don't pick up on it at all. When you're in the real car and actually driving it, you get a feel for it, but it's funny because you're just so focused and planted and your perspective is different. When you walk it, when you're on the tarmac, you drive. I mean, you'd be knackered out just cycling around here. From here on is all uphill. I'd like to cycle it one day on an e-bike. But I think that would be a really interesting segment of an episode, to cycle it and then try and come up with some camera angles that really convey how steep it is. That's not, I know that isn't showing that. But
no, it isn't.
The elevation
I'm trying, but it's weird.
I mean, if you were to take a point there and a point there, probably the equivalent of a 2.5, 3 stories. Well, look at the height of those trees. The height of those trees is in line with the top of that hill. I tell you what, it's a tough job. The guy on the laptop in the passenger seat reading all the data. Imagine day in, day out, 2 up and not the one driving. It'd be interesting maybe for someone to do a development lap with us as a demo on a car which has already been launched. Which is just go out and say, okay, this is what we would do on a laptop. And like, I don't know what they're doing on a laptop.
I don't know what they're doing either.
But they spend a lot of time here with a face in a laptop and probably their face in a sick bag. That's a big heavy beast to be sending around here. That's what makes this place so fascinating. Why is it? And we should get to the bottom of this and get some story out of this for the Sub 7 series. What's the value to manufacturers? They have literal physical premises and bases here for developing cars. And they're lapping all year round. I suppose it's such a mix of all sorts of road surfaces and scenarios that it's like the perfect stretch of tarmac to develop a car under all sorts of circumstances. There's nowhere else like it in the world. They'll go and do hot weather testing somewhere, and they'll go and do extreme cold. But they don't have a base like they do here. Everything looks so similar because you're just driving through the woods, effectively. Yeah. Hard to tell.
What is that?
What is that? So hard to tell when they're completely bagged in camo. There's camo and then there's that, which is bagged, and just the lights are poking through. Oh, they're still building that. Do you remember they were building that place a year ago? mean, this whole place is just.
Well, you got tyre
pure-
development people next to one
pure
another.
development for industry, isn't it?
It is literally like Gran Turismo. Oh look.
It's Forza Horizon, like
Hello.
driving around, aren't you? Shall I go?
Put it in the
I'll go
front. Yeah,
this
put it in
way.
the front.
These MR cars are the coolest thing.
Oh.
This place is just the
It's
best.
just
isn't
so
it?
cool.
It's just the best.
Look at all these. Just got to say, Mantan make the best merch.
They actually do.
But I always come away with a hat. It's bad news.
No, it's great news. That's very cool. You really cannot tell. Let me just go back across this bridge a second. There's no way to convey the undulations and how much elevation change and compression there is from the landscape around here. I'm going to point the camera up to this part of the track, which is what turns out to be a massive degree of elevation up towards T13. I know the camera's not going to pick up on this, but see if you can tell from here just how high up that section of tarmac goes. See that? That's the set of corners before T13. Look how much elevation change there is. It's crackers. Okay, watch this guy, watch this guy. Compression there. And then look at the elevation. Honestly, in the car, that almost feels like almost flat landscape. I can't explain it. It's really deceiving. So it's industry pool just now, all of these different brands testing. I've never seen that perspective of it. It's quite odd. That's interesting. R34 GTR on industry pool. Sounds like a Porsche on full chat here. Oof, that is screaming. Oh, it's about to crest over here. Oh, he's flat. Oh, did you hear that get light? That sounded like it got airborne. Right.
Change down gear.
You wouldn't change down a gear at that high RPM.
that's
It would
what I
send a
mean.
rod
It's
through the...
really
Well,
weird.
that's PDK. That wouldn't let you change down a gear. I think it got light. Seamless transition. I don't know what it is around this part of the world, but we are in standstill traffic again. On the way here, we were in standstill for 2 hours, and we've decided to leave the ring early so that we could cruise during nighttime. And there was me thinking that as part of this series, we were going to enjoy some great road
Yeah.
trips over here, and it's been
Been a
a
nightmare.
total nightmare, like there and back. I thought this place was supposed to be efficient and total. Honestly, the traffic to and from the ring has been the worst I've encountered all year. Okay, so we've actually been stationary longer than we've been traveling on the Channel Tunnel due to a jam of the doors. All of that getting up early to get an early trade has now been made, well, almost redundant. The actual crossing is only half an hour. It's about 35 minutes, actually. We've been sat here probably about 35 minutes, maybe not longer, but it's the equivalent of sitting here for 2 crossings. So, never mind. Although we do have to go and meet Henry at Alan Mann Racing to go and do some filming with those guys. And we gave him a time. Right now, that time is out of the window. So we're just waiting for them to undo the doors. People are just out of their cars hanging out.
I
can see light now, so that's a good
I
start.
went up and helped him out.
Yeah, totally.
You know,
Right.
With my engineering
Skills.
PhD.
Oh, actually, when we got on here as well, we were totally 0 mileage, look, of fuel left. There is a, oh dear, yes. There is, there is a fuel pump pretty much immediately. Let's hope it's operational, unlike the one in France. Oh, the weather's in our favour. It's normally the other way around. Get back to the UK and it's absolutely tipping it down, right? These things they're like from Mad Max, aren't they? The design of these things. They've still got the old Euro tunnel branding on that one.
I think how many years ago it
the
was.
shuttle. It's going back.
It's got to be
It is going
25,
back, yeah.
maybe more.
The worst scenario for this engine, when it's on a run and we're rolling,
Yeah.
the fuel efficiency, brilliant for a V12, right? For a naturally aspirated V12.
I feel like there's one up here.
Yeah, it's good. As soon as you're in stop-start traffic, it just drinks juice with 2 straws. Here we are. We're all good.
We're all good. Well, when it's at standstill in the queue, was it eating through fuel?
When
Like,
it's,
no
in
one's business.
when it's in a queue and you're using the throttle to just like inch forward,
Yeah.
dude, it saps juice. Absolutely saps it. Supreme 99 Plus. Let's do it. Check it out. Supreme 99, higher octane, 2 times detergent for better performance. Lucio's got this nice little button here which releases said fuel cap, and I'm going to put in this 99 juice. I've had this car, picked it up all of 4 days ago, 5 days ago now. Just trying to flush through the best fuel I can. It's obviously a pre-owned car, but who knows what was ran previously, so just trying to feed it the good stuff. 99 is proper juice. See how much this costs from fumes to full. So, very top line review so far. All of 4 days in sort of total ownership of this car. Swapped it out for, against, in part X of, BMW M3 Touring. Had that for 2 years. Wonderful cross-continental cruiser. Great all-rounder. Obviously had a little bit more room in the boot because it was a proper estate car. This is almost like a shooting brake. Super hot hatch almost. But judging on its merit of crossing continents, drove it down from Scotland, then down to the very southern tip of the UK, onto the Channel Tunnel, through France, into Belgium, through Belgium, into Germany. Basically went straight from getting the keys straight into a road trip, which I always think is the sort of like crash course, distilled experience of getting to know a car. And there's not a lot that I've picked up on that I don't particularly like. There is something on the steering wheel, which I will share with you shortly, which is a little bit ergonomically odd, something to do with the lights. But as a complete package, I mean, it's a naturally aspirated Ferrari V12, all-wheel drive, twin-clutch box. The relationship between the engine and gearbox is sublime. That's the one thing that something like an RS6 or even the M3 Touring didn't quite have that synaptic connection between you and the shift because it was a more conventional torque converter automatic. This thing, from a transmission point of view, is unbelievable. Wet mode traction, phenomenal. Snow mode, not that it's been snowing, but if you find yourself cruising along the highway in standing water, the sort of throttle bleed in terms of the available power that snow mode gives you, it's basically impossible to have this thing break traction on you. It's always monitoring slip. Here we are, 83 litres, almost 84 litres, 128 pounds, 152 per litre. Actually not bad for a venue that's got you by the short and curlies, stepping straight off a Channel Tunnel onto a motorway when you've got no fuel with 99 plus. I actually think that's all right. I think you'd be used to this by now. So 128 for 99 Supreme Plus on fumes, totally empty tank. So the attribute I was telling you about, which ergonomically on the steering wheel is a bit odd. The activator for the headlights, you'd think it would be one button like that on and off, but it's a rocker switch that you have to, so that's lights on, like high beam on, and then to take it off you have to pull it back. Now it really seems quite a trivial thing. Almost in every car it's one button on, one button off, like that. And so when you have to do this, oddly, I know that seems really trivial, it's just a very unintuitive way of turning on and off a switch, to have to rock it like that rather than just, pressing it like that button there. Soft suspension on, soft suspension off. Wouldn't it be weird to go soft suspension on and then on the back of the steering wheel, soft suspension off? That's the equivalent of what's happening here. You have to press it from the back of the button to turn it off and on.
Tiny little things though.
Massive first world problem. It's not a complaint, it's an observation, right? I'm not saying, oh, this is a problem. I was just saying when filling it up, there's not a great deal that I don't like about it, really. I mean, I need to go in the settings because traffic updates keep coming on every 15 minutes. The seat for me sits a little high, just a little bit high.
Seems to...
Yeah, just a smidge high. And as with Ferraris of this generation, it was not specifically this car, the steering column doesn't extend out far enough to me, so I'm having to compensate by putting my backrest more upright to bring me closer to the wheel. I find myself a little bit sort of stretched armed out to it.
Is that all the way out then?
That's all the way out,
No
yeah.
way.
So that's the adapter there, and you can sort of move it up and down a bit. The great thing is that engine. I mean, it's just the coolest thing, man. It reaches out your seatbelt for you, which is a thing. Yeah, it's so far from a point of view of living with this thing in a distilled fashion over the last sort of few days. It's been super cool. Super, super cool. Right. Onward.